Like to read to you is about bats. Now, I've been reading you a couple of books this week that are kind of fun books. They're make believe, they're not real. But this book that I'm about to read to you is all facts. That means that it's real, it's true, okay? And it's about bats because kind of around Halloween, I don't know, we just start talking about bats, okay? Because they can seem like they're a little bit scary, but. All right, so there's a real bat, and it's called Bats. I sleep by day, I fly by night. I have no feathers to aid my flight. What am I? The answer is a bat. A bat is a mammal. Mammals are animals that nurse their young, have hair, and are warm-blooded. Humans, dogs, and whales are all mammals, but bats have a special ability. They can fly. So there's the bat. Now, a mammal, like you would think that a bat is a bird because it can fly, and birds can fly, but it's not a bird. It's actually a mammal. There are about 1,200 types of bats in the world. Most of them eat insects. Insect-eating bats are usually small in size. There are more than 150 types of fruit bats. These bats are usually larger and search for sweet fruit and other plants. So sometimes kids tend to think that bats suck your blood. Well, no, most of the bats eat insects or fruit. A few bats hunt for larger prey, such as frogs, birds, or mice. Some people think all bats suck your blood. This is not true. Only 3 kinds of bats drink blood. This group is known as vampire bats. They mostly feed on the blood of animals like cows and deer, not humans. So human beings kind of think that bats would drink their blood, but they don't. All right. And there's only, out of the 1,500 different types of bats, only 3 of those types actually even drink any kind of blood. Night flight. Did you know that while you're fast asleep, bats are busy filling their bellies? Bats are nocturnal, meaning they're active at night. This way of life has many advantages for a bat. Insect-eating bats often feast on bugs that come out after dark. Pollen and nectar-eating bats might feed on plants that only open at night. Nectar is a sweet liquid made by flowers. Okay, so nocturnal means that basically you are awake during the nighttime. Okay, another nocturnal animal is a hamster. Bat bodies. Scientists call bats Chiroptera, a Greek name that means hand wing. That's because bats have 4 fingers and a thumb, just like us. A thin layer of skin connects the fingers. This forms a wing. Bats also have a sensitive nose and big ears. Their big ears help some bats see with sound. So they don't see with their eyes, they see with sound. It's called echolocation. So if you look really closely at that wing, look at that wing. It's got these, you can see like fingers here. Those are actually the fingers in the wing. It's got sharp eyesight. There's the wing. Big ears. A sensitive nose. They also have thumbs and 4 fingers and fur. They don't have feathers. They have fur. Ooh, they're going to talk about echolocation. Echolocation is a really cool thing. It's where they make this sound and it bounces off of things. And so instead of having to see, they could just hear. In the pitch black night, bats can scoop up a tiny insect with ease. No flashlight required. How do they do it? They make a sound that travels until it hits an object. Then it bounces off the object and travels back to the bat. From this echo, the bat can tell an object's size and how far away it is. It is called echolocation. Another animal that uses echolocation is a dolphin. They make sounds under the water and they can tell where things are. Funny face. Look at these funny faces. Look at that one. And that one. So interesting. Ooh, that one looks scary. And that's just a big-eared bat. It's kind of hiding a little bit. Some bats have strange-looking faces. Special ears, noses, and mouths help bats tune in to and make sounds while they use echolocation. Their faces may look odd to us, but for bats, their features work perfectly. They use all of the things that they have. So they like to hang upside down. Don't know if you noticed that. And they also stay in groups. Hanging out. When bats are not hunting for food, they're usually hiding in a roost. Roosts can be caves, treetops, or attics. Bats pick places that are well hidden and protected from bad weather. When most bats rest in their roost, they hang upside down. It's like a little group of bats. They find a nice place to hide, like in a cave. So in this cave, look at all those bats hanging upside down from the top of the cave. Have you ever hung upside down in on a jungle gym? You might start to feel dizzy. Bats have special veins to keep their blood flowing properly so they never feel dizzy. Bats can't take off from the ground like birds do. They have to fall into flight. Hanging upside down is the best way to make a quick getaway. So they can't like be on the ground and then like shoot up and start flying like a bird. No, they need to be hanging and then they let go and they start falling and then they start to fly. That's how they do it. Oh, there's a baby bat on there. Baby bats, called pups, completely depend on their mothers after they're born. They're blind, hairless, and can't fly. They cling to their mother's fur. The pups nurse their mother's milk until their wings are strong enough to fly. So just like human babies, their mothers have to carry them around, right? They can't fly yet, and their mothers have to feed them milk. During storms in an Australian rainforest, wind can knock baby bats to the forest floor. The babies usually don't survive unless wildlife workers come to the rescue. The lucky bats are taken to a bat hospital. The babies are bundled in blankets and fed milk from a bottle. After a few months, they're strong enough to return to the wild. And they actually feed them milk. Nature's helpers. So this is why bats are important. A world without bats wouldn't be very nice. Bats are an important part of the ecosystem. Insect-eating bats gobble up millions of bugs. Many of these insects are pests that could harm humans or destroy crops. Bats keep their numbers under control. Other bats keep forests healthy by spreading seeds and pollen. This allows trees and flowers to multiply. So bats are really important. Otherwise, we would just have a whole bunch of insects everywhere, bugs everywhere. All right. So this is myths about bats. Now, myths means things that people think are true, but they're not really true. The myth is bats are blind. The truth is, bats have excellent eyesight. Some bats hunt using sight alone. Some bats have misunderstandings, some people have misunderstandings about bats. Here are a few common myths that drive experts batty. Here's another myth. bats are dirty. That's not true. Bats are naturally neat freaks. They groom themselves frequently. Mothers lick their babies to keep them clean. Another myth, bats get stuck in hair, like in people's hair. With sharp senses and echolocation, bats are very good flyers. They can avoid obstacles the width of a thread. So they're not going to get stuck in your hair on accident. A myth, vampire bats turn into human vampires. That's not true. There is no such thing as a human vampire, and bats certainly don't turn into them. So, just in case you were wondering, that's not true. Okay. All right. Bat Hall of Fame. There's the tiniest bat in the world. There's the longest wingspan of a bat. Some bats look like this. Look how small they are. They're on a leaf. And some bats look like this. All right, so what did you learn about bats from this?